Welcome, Jeeks, to part two of the 2025-2026 NBA preview here only on Fanalysis 101. I'm your host, RockinMrMagic. This preview of the NBA season is being done by myself, my co-host, Greg Burnham, and our first and special guest, Harrison Rich of the Nintendo Therapy Podcast and Harrison Talks Pod. Let's finish the show.
Here we go.
Yeah, their timeline is so crazy over in Dallas, and
Oh, it's win now. Like
yeah,
because there is no time to let Cooper develop because you have no idea when how long Kyrie or AD can be healthy and if they can even be healthy simultaneously. It is definitely a win now situation.
yeah, because I was talking to my best friend who's a Dallas fan about this, and I don't know. I mean, maybe Magic Johnson, but have we seen like a rookie that is such a high prospect come into the league, but then also get put on a team that is expected to be in the playoffs right away? 'Cause it wasn't LeBron, like LeBron didn't come to a team that needed to be in the playoffs right away. It wasn't Wimby, it wasn't Zion. Um, I think Cooper Flag is in such a unique situation where he has not only superstars but older superstars, and the feeling of, yes, we need to beat the playoffs in your rookie season, and the health around him might mean that he has to be impactful his rookie season also.
It is a rarity. Magic Johnson being one of well, even the Lakers even weren't really that good prior to Magic getting there.
They had a talented roster, though.
Yeah, they had talent, but they weren't putting it together. So the expectations were lower for them. I would say the person who had the highest expectation, being a lottery pick, and of course he did absolutely nothing but warm the bench, um, and we won despite him, is Darko Milicic, um, for the Detroit Pistons in '03. That was a guy who was brought into a team that was supposed to put that team over the top. But I'm glad he didn't, because if he was decent, he wouldn't have made the Rasheed Wallace trade. And without the Rasheed Wallace trade, we don't win the championship. So I'm glad Darko didn't pan out for that. And that's why I'm glad we didn't draft Melo, because without Sheed, we don't win that championship. So, uh, but he but he was expected to come and join that playoff team and be a major impact to a team that had won 50 games the year before and was in the conference finals.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, yeah. Over number two overall. Yeah, I would. Yeah, exactly.
The funny thing is, if they would have taken Carmelo, you probably would have had a dynasty on your hands.
No, because we wouldn't have had Sheed.
Why not?
Because we traded for Sheed mid-year at the trade deadline. We
I
wouldn't
know,
have had
but
him.
that wouldn't.
We wouldn't have if
they're not the
Melo
same position.
if Melo's playing well, they don't make that trade.
You still needed another big.
We needed a big who could score and defend. If Melo was scoring, they don't make that move. Joe doesn't make that move with Melo there, and he's
So who is
scoring.
going to be
And
your?
and,
Who
and,
is your?
and that's if Larry Brown does with rookies. Now, if they draft Melo and he doesn't play a lot, and they make the Rasheed trade, then yes, we could potentially have had a dynasty. But the
Who cares?
likelihood,
I got lucky and won that sneaker
oh
series.
please, the former Laker fan is still mad that we waxed him in 5.
I'm not mad. It's sad. Like to get beat by a JV team. Disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
A JV team. Never gonna get over that.
Yeah, you're never gonna get over it. It's okay. You'll be all right. You're gonna be all right.
I also am not sleeping on the Spurs. But the same thing with them. The Wimby Victor has to stay healthy. I absolutely love Dylan Harper. So I'm gonna see like what kind of bandwidth, like what he's gonna be allowed to do. He's played the most minutes off the bench. Well, besides Keldon Johnson so far, the most minutes off the bench. That's a team that's scary because, and it's not just because they got that Atlanta backcourt, with Castle and Vassell. It's not just that, but that could be like a scary, scary team, and all they really need to do is stay healthy because Victor is a cheat code. I wanted to mention this too. I've been holding this. They came out with a thing saying that he grew a couple of inches and now he's 7'5", and I'm like, no, he's just telling the truth about his height. Because he was 7'5" last year. I saw him standing next to Zach Edey at the free throw line last year. Looking.
Oh yeah, they're the same. They're like the same height.
No. He's taller than Zach.
No.
A little, he's like.
I don't know because I like that picture of him next to David Robinson, and unless David Robinson has gotten shorter as he's gotten older, I think Wembanyama is at least 7'7". I think he is.
David was listed at 7'1".
Yeah.
But if you see the picture, he's like an entire head taller than David Robinson. So either David Robinson has gotten shorter over time, or Victor Wembanyama is actually like at least 7'7". It's crazy. He's
a cheat code regardless. And the fact that people have somebody let Hakeem train him in the offseason, which shouldn't be allowed. I'm all for old school players passing them knowledge, but I'm sorry. If I'm the Houston Rockets, the last thing I do is have the greatest player of my franchise history teaching the enemy his footwork. Like, you're making the Spurs better. I'm sorry. I have Albert Şengün work with him. I've got Jabari Smith work with him. Why are we letting Hakeem Olajuwon work with Victor Wembanyama? Just makes no sense to me. He can't claim it's his Nigerian countryman or anything. Dude's from France. Like, there's no connection whatsoever. That's just absolutely insane to me. But I digress.
Isn't he halfway Nigerian though?
Is he?
I think
I don't know. He's not 100% French. I don't think.
Well, he plays for freaking France, so that's too much French for me. I don't know. Is he Nigerian? I don't
know. I was hoping that.
His dad's Congolese. He ain't got no Nigerian in him.
That's right down the street.
Man. Man. Come on.
But no, I mean, it is what it is, man. He gonna learn that stuff somewhere.
I'd rather have him learn it from someone else, not from Dream.
Yeah, I just hope that DVT scare is over with. Because those things can get scary. Because you just want to see what this kid is gonna be, man. It reminds me of me playing against my brother on the Nerf basketball goal. Like, he just like does crazy things, like blocking people's shot flat-footed. It's just real disrespectful out there.
It's getting unprecedented. So the health is the biggest concern because it goes way beyond basketball when you're that tall. I saw Jimmy High Roller did a great video on YouTube about this, and the people documented in the world between 7'3" and 7'7", which it's extreme, of course. Over 40% of those people alive played or have played professional basketball in some capacity.
Wow.
Basically,
when you're that tall, they give you the money.
You got like a 50-50 shot. And I mean Europe,
overseas. You're playing pro somewhere when you're that tall. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're I mean, come on. I mean, how do you think Adano Foyle was in the NBA for so long, man? He's just tall.
He was good. Really? They said he was going to be really good coming out of college.
Yeah, well, we should have known better. You came out of Colgate. And look, I swallowed those. I swallowed the hype for Donald Foyle like everybody else. They hyped him up a lot.
I did. I seen him playing in college. I was like, y'all have fun with that one. But remember, those were the days where like I have to tell the whippersnappers all the time, man. Back then, scouting was a lot different.
Yes, it was.
If you played well in college, you were going to get drafted probably. And if you did some cool stuff in the tournament, Tate George, Tyus Edney, like these guys, like it's like, oh, Tate George
Hey,
gets that shot. Let's draft him.
How about this other another Piston legend, Fennis Dembo?
Oh yeah.
When Fennis was at Wyoming, we thought he was an invincible brick of muscle.
Yeah.
He got to the league and it was like, man, you short budget.
This dude is terrible.
This dude is trash, man. we thought he was nice. Nah, I guess that's why he was playing at Wyoming. Yeah.
He plays like somebody named Fennis Dembo.
Hey, that's NBA champion Fennis Dembo to you. Harrison, let's finish off the Eastern Conference divisions with the Central Division.
Well, no surprise. I'm going with who is going to be first in the East in my power rankings, and that's going to be the Cavaliers once again. And the big question for the Cavaliers is pretty clear. This is a team that had a historic 64-18 season last year, but then fell short. They swept Miami, but then they lost to Indiana 1-4. They had injuries. Their shooting was horrible in that round. So this is a very unique season, and I've talked about the overall what the Eastern Conference is looking like this season. I think this is a team that could improve in the regular season, which is crazy, maybe more than 64 games. But what will that mean? Because it's not going to be on the same impact that we saw the 2016 Warriors, where you had the unanimous MVP Steph Curry season, 73 wins, more than the 98 Bulls, and then they lost, blowing the 3-1 lead. I wonder if the Cavaliers can actually win more than 64 games this year, but also have it translate more into the playoffs as well. I think it's possible. They were 8th in defense last season, and the biggest additions they have this year are Lonzo Ball and Larry Nance Jr. And I think just with what they are taking out and bringing in, having Lonzo Ball as a nice defensive anchor is going to be very big for a team that is growing in continuity together. So, in the end, it's all about their core and their supporting cast: Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. They still have players like Max Strus, George Niang, Isaac Okoro, and they're just they had an incredibly um, efficient, incredible offensive regular season this year. I would take them above Milwaukee, although I have confidence with Giannis. I would take them above Detroit, even though I think Detroit will also improve this season as well. I think they just, next to the Thunder, have maybe the best depth in the NBA right now. So more than 64 wins might be a lot, but I still think they are easily going to take this division, and I think they're going to win more than New York in the regular season. So I had them at first, and I would imagine a lot of preseason power rankings had them at first as well. So yeah, guys. Top uh top 5 offense, top 5 defense, I think. What do you guys think?
So I first wanted to, you mentioned Isaac Okoro, and he started for the Bulls tonight. He played like 23 minutes, and they beat the brakes off of the Pistons. So
winning by 4 does not constitute as beating the brakes on anything.
Wow, man, why you got to be paying attention to the stats and stuff? Y'all got smashed today. Y'all were
breaks. He means 4 points, by the way.
they were beating you guys pretty good, but something happened.
No, we started the game terribly. It was
Yeah,
bad.
it was bad. Yeah. But shout out to Isaac, who's in another one, Atlantic product. So yeah, I think the Cavs are a lot. Yeah, it's the same thing. You just want them to be healthy, right? We know that Mitchell is going to come up with an injury here and there. Garland is the one that's scary because he's that guy that can control the pace for them. I think Lonzo is a good addition. Again, you hope he can stay healthy, right?
Yeah, right.
But I'll say that in the short time tonight, Evan Mobley, that I was watching anyway, it looked like he's added more to his game. He's looking to be a little bit more offensive, which to me is that thing. If you have Garland and Spider getting theirs, then you got somebody that you can give the ball to, in the short corner, mid post, corner, like elbow, all of that stuff, and work. I think that's when you can really do some damage in the playoffs. That pace and space, it works to a certain degree, but you have to be able to like slow it down and be able to get like really good shots, and that's the thing. It's hard to do when you start 2'6". What? How tall is Donovan Mitchell? 6'2".
6. I mean, they say he's 6'4", but
Yeah, I don't believe that.
I don't believe that Donovan's actually that tall. Yeah.
So,
I would. I think Cleveland. I don't think Cleveland's the best team in this division. I think this is the hardest. This is the toughest division in the Eastern Conference. I think the Milwaukee Bucks are the best team in this division. It may sound wild because they don't have Dame anymore. I think that this roster is going to be is more hungry than this team was last year. The additions of Cole Anthony, they still have obviously Giannis. They still have Bobby Portis, who they rely on. Kyle Kuzma has quietly been solid for them. Gary Harris, Cole Anthony are solid pieces. And don't forget Miles Turner leaving the Pacers to join this team makes a massive impact defensively, and he can stretch the floor as a big. And he's in a much and better than what Lopez was doing, and obviously tremendously younger than Brooke Lopez. So this Bucks defense, this Bucks team, is I think being overlooked by a lot. And look, Giannis is just 30 years old. Like it's freaking scary how much time he potentially still has left to play high level basketball. And being the fact that they've got athletes around him, guys who I think want it, they're going to be scary. The biggest question mark, I think they can be the best team in the division. The biggest question mark, obviously, is come playoff time because their coach is still Doc Rivers.
That's what I was going to ask you. Who's the
their coach is still Doc can do the job during the regular season. His problem is always the playoffs. So I think they're going to be good. And also Detroit is good. The Bulls are good. This is a tough division that Cleveland would have to really overcome.
Yeah, I think one of the things about Doc, because I've been a fan of Doc as a coach up until like the last couple of years. One of the things about him is he's old school. He expects his dogs to be dogs. And when you have a bunch of, puppies on your roster, like prima donnas, like superstars, that's where it struggles. He didn't have any problems with them Celtics boys because they was, ready to get out there.
But he also he played against KG and Pierce came in soon after he retired, and because Doc went to coaching 3 years after he retired.
Yeah.
He was they were almost, some of them, those players were almost contemporaries for him. I think he did play against Ray Allen his rookie year or whatever. So these are people he saw eye to eye with.
Right.
But so that's and they had a similar mindset. This current generation and him, they don't have the same mindset.
But you know who does have that mindset? Their best player.
Yes,
And so now that you don't have,
but those brothers can't save him.
well, I mean, everybody I hear they talk about Thanasis and talk about how important he is, like to the team as far as like
the morale,
not just morale, but like being a leader, like checking people and like being, like getting on people that need to be got on.
You're telling me Thanasis is Udonis Haslem for them?
No. I don't think. I think Udonis Haslem was different. Like I even heard, as goofy as Jeff Teague is, he talked about it. He's like, that championship, we don't win that without Thanasis, because he was the one. Like when dudes was hanging their heads, like he's that guy. He's a good dude. He's an energy guy. Sure, he doesn't play a lot, but having him on the team from what I've heard players that have said.
I personally have no qualms with Thanasis being in the league. Let me put that out there for anyone.
And he was drafted before his brother, man. Like people
exactly. The Knicks had drafted Thanasis before Giannis was drafted. I have no problem with Thanasis being in the league. Yes, I'm sure his multiple times in the Bucks has something to do with his brother, but let's not act like Thanasis isn't an NBA player.
Yeah.
Now, Alex, on the other hand, that's a different story. But Thanasis has more than earned his stripes. I'm all for locker room guys, but like UD earned, UD was a starter who became a locker room guy.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a different thing where like it's not like Thanasis was ever, like Tree Rollins was that. Tree Rollins was a really good player who ended up becoming, a 5-minute a game player, but was there and, was a leader and helped people stay in line and help encourage people. Thanasis has never earned that, in my opinion, on the court to be able to have that type of role. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know Teague big up him, but Jeff Teague be saying Jeff Teague stuff.
Yeah, but so I think from what it looks like to me, the way I've been able to pull it, because I've heard other guys talk about it too, is that's the big brother, right? So
yes, he is older. Yeah.
Right. So if Giannis starts like getting in his head or, like getting down.
So he's Jack Haley for Dennis Rodman.
No.
Except for he's a better player than Jack Haley. Let's not disrespect Thanasis. He's a much better player than Jack Haley was.
I would say it's almost more of a thing like a coach, right? Like if you got somebody on your team that can go off on your best player, then it's like everybody else can like fall in line. You know what I mean? So it's similar to Belichick yelling at Brady, Popovich yelling at Timmy. It's like you got a guy there that can, like, when he sees his brother, who is still, the best player in the world,
right?
Like when he sees him going into a funk or something, this is the guy that can, cuss him out and tell him, get your shit together.
Yeah.
And so, like, if he has that power over his brother, who's the best player on the team, then he probably can do that to anybody. And if he's doing this, like from the kindness, like the goodness of his heart, then nobody's going to be like, oh man, I just got cussed out by Thanasis. They're going to go play harder. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
That's a different perspective I hadn't thought of. Because if he's holding his brother in check and his brother accepts it, other players will accept it. Because generally, we players, we ain't taking it from some dude that don't see the court. Like, well, why am I gonna listen to you? But if the star takes it, that is different.
And I also say under Coach Budweiser, Bud and Coach.
Stupid.
What, man? He likes to throw him back sometimes.
Coach Bud, whatever.
But when Coach Bud was there, Thanasis used to get to play a little bit more in meaningful minutes. It wasn't to go get buckets or anything. It was to go out there and wrestle and clothesline, get some rebounds, get a couple of dunks.
Well, he's a high energy player. I love that about him.
Right. So they have like kind of diminished his role. But yeah, I think like my whole thing with them is just like if any little thing happens with Giannis, this team goes down the toilet. You know, if he misses 2 weeks, it's over. So, and there's still the prevailing thought is that he's not going to be in a Bucks, jersey by the end of the year. So, I think
But you
those
can't leave your brothers though.
Oh, they're going.
LeBron get ready to leave his
We
son.
were about to bring Costas, man. We're about to bring Costas over to the G League. I thought we were cool, man.
No, it's a full Antetokounmpo trade package. You got to take all 4 of them.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
which you know what? A lot of teams would do that.
absolutely.
I think like because Alex was on other G League teams. Like wasn't he on Dallas's G League team or something? But there was definitely times where like Costas on the Lakers. I bet Costas on the Lakers. I bet a little part of that was like, hey Giannis.
Oh, that's
man.
That's 100% what it was.
Like it's like, hey man, like LA, everyone comes down. Everyone loves LA, man. Come on.
Right. And that's when Milwaukee doubled down on Thanasis, like, let's get Thanasis a 20-year deal.
But if you are right, they make a run. Alex is the only one with no ring. And that's got to feel bad in the family. You know, you're showing up to the dinners and everything. And you're the only one, but Alex.
They won that one FIBA thing. He's fine.
Yeah. He does have that. So, you know, and his family's all rich and everything. I actually had your Detroit Pistons 4th in the East, above the Bucks, who I had 5th in the East. So
that could go either way. I think the Bucks are a little bit better. And that's just because of Giannis. I think Cade Cunningham's going to take a big leap forward, but we have some issues. We're still a little small outside of Jalen Duren. We don't have much size. We don't know when Jaden Ivey's coming back because he got hurt, before the season started. He's going to be out for at least a month. And we lost Malik. And we're starting Duncan Robinson, which this sucks defensively. We lost Malik Beasley to gambling.
He was cleared on all charges.
But
they're still investigating, which is why he doesn't have a team.
At least it's white collar. At least it's at least it's tucked in crime.
It's just Beasley's loves poor decision making. Like as much as on paper, Duncan Robinson and Karis LeVert look like good additions to help continue to spread the floor and keep the defenses honest. Duncan is a downgrade defensively. Karis LeVert, unfortunately, is injury prone. And I need the Pistons need to be healthy, especially down low. We would have beat the Knicks if we had Isaiah Stewart, but we didn't because he was hurt. And we're kind of short as a team. So the Pistons, can go between 4 and 5. I think they'll still somewhere between 4 and 6 again. I think we're just a solid. I think they're a solid piece away. And right now, there's just no market for it because to get someone like Giannis, you're going to have to hemorrhage a lot of your talent. You would just pretty much be Cade Cunningham and Giannis. Which we didn't, didn't work out for the Bucks with Dame and Giannis. So people are, hesitant to make that type of move. Unless, when you have a core that looks good between Cunningham, between Jaden Ivey, between Duren, you don't want to break up a good young nucleus. Similar to Oklahoma City, you don't want to break up a good nucleus, but you do want to get another piece to complement it better. So it's a tough division. I think honestly you could have 4 teams, 3 or 4 teams in the Central Division make the playoffs. We had that last year between the Cavs, the Bucks, and the Pistons, and we could see it again.
I have them in Central. I have Cavs at 1, Bucks at Pistons at 4, Bucks at 5, Indiana at 7. But yeah, who knows what Indiana's going to be competing for there. And I don't think Giannis will go anywhere. And man, if Jalen Brunson ever gets traded because he took a pay cut, that's just going to be the worst karma in the world, I think.
Oh yeah, that would be That's how you get a curse placed upon you. The dude, he took a haircut to let them be able to sign other people. Yeah, that'd be horrible.
It would. All right, Greg, give me the Pacific Division here. Who's going to win that?
Okay, so it's not going to be the Lakers.
No, man, come on, man. Luka just dropped 41, man.
Yeah, no,
you
Luka
kidding
played.
me?
Luka played. He played really well last night, but that's pretty much what we see Luka do all the time. The ball got to move around more. Maybe when LeBron gets back, that will happen. Because it just, I don't know. It's not the Lakers, so I don't even want to talk about it.
You didn't think DeAndre Ayton looked good?
Oh my God. Listen, man.
Jackson Hayes should be out there.
Dude, Harrison. We just became best friends because that's just what I was gonna say. He has better chemistry.
It's DeAndre Ayton. He's the answer.
Dude, that guy, first of all, coming out with brown braids is nasty work. Nasty work. Like, but he looked better his rookie year than he did last night.
Yeah.
It's almost no impact on the game. You're just out there. The size of the athleticism would tell you he should be a really good defender, but he's not.
Because it requires effort.
Yeah, he just doesn't look like he's into basketball that much.
No, he hasn't been.
And then I think JJ Redick is bad at coaching basketball.
Oh, well, we knew that.
Marcus Smart he has 3 fouls, and then you let him pick up his 4th before halftime. I'm disgusted seeing.
Well, I thought JJ was supposed to be able to this master at managing players and talent and stuff.
Somebody said that.
Hey, for listeners, it wasn't us.
No,
this show has never said that. Never will.
I can't stand seeing Marcus Smart in the jersey. He doesn't belong. I don't know if y'all saw he should have been ejected for what he tried to do to Steph last night. Did y'all see that?
I did not see that.
So Steph was guarding him. Steph had his arm under Marcus's armpit. Mm-hmm. He locked his arm, and then he kind of hip tossed and could have dislocated Steph's shoulder. They called a flagrant 1. He needed to be ejected. I don't know, man. But anyways, we're not talking about those bums. So the Clippers got dog walked tonight, by the Jazz. They got their face kicked in.
Yeah, they did. Wait, you don't think the Clippers, the oldest team in the league, is gonna make it to the? They're not gonna win this division.
No, I don't.
I think what do they call them? They're calling them what? They're calling the Funkles or Funkle Land or something.
Listen, I think that if they are healthy going into the playoffs, they could. I think if they gel, they could probably cause problems and beat most people. But at the end of the day, James Harden still poops his pants in big games. Kawhi, you never know what to expect. Bradley freaking Beal, come on, man. Bradley, I know I've said it before, but the Charles Barkley adage, a great player on a bad team is not a great player. He put up really fantastic numbers in Washington, but it doesn't translate. I think he scored 5 points tonight. It's different when you get to shoot as much as you want, when you don't have to compete with other stars on your team.
Dude, this team is loaded with names. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
Chris Paul,
10
he's
years
40.
ago, 10 years ago,
Chris
you'd be like,
Paul,
whoa, it's about to go down.
no, Chris Paul, he's 40.
Yeah.
You know, you've got
Kawhi's
you,
knees are
you've
73.
got Brooke Lopez, 37.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard, 34. James
Mhm.
Harden, 36. Um, Nicholas Batum, 36. Bradley Beal, 32.
I still don't
Bog-
know who you're picking for this division.
Bogey, 33.
I'm getting to it.
You
Um,
know, I mean, you don't you feel just the rush of youth and
I feel
excitement coming from this Clippers? And they're they're small. They're relatively small. They're
well,
small and old.
they got what, 2, 3 7-footers?
No,
Yeah,
they've got one 7-footer. They've got
Zubac
Zubac.
and
They've got
Brooke Lopez, right?
they've got Brooke.
That's
Who's
2.
yes, that's 2 7-footers. And they got Niederhauser, who he don't count, but he's 6'11", he don't count. He's not gonna play. But your 7-foot, your big 7-footer who can shoot is slower than slow. And Zubac, I'm sorry, he's past his prime, even though he's not 30 yet.
No, he's probably the most consistent player on their team.
No, I didn't say he wasn't. I said he's still past his prime. I didn't say he wasn't consistent. I said he's past his prime.
I think he's the same guy that he's been for a few years. He'll be okay, but they're not going to win.
No, of course they're not going to win. Who?
It really so.
There's not enough balls to go around. Like, come on, how Bradley Beal and James Harden supposed to share the ball, and somehow Chris Paul's supposed to distribute? None of these guys are catch and shoot players.
Right. So my pick is the Warriors. And like just watching them last night, and it looks like this is the most grounded I've seen them, where they can actually like run their system again. I think they have those pieces. You got your Al Horford coming off the bench, and he's just a winning player.
Yes.
And he can do so many different things. Gary Payton III coming off the bench, just wreaking havoc. Last night, Kuminga started. Me and Steve Kerr were really good friends for one day in 2019.
Right.
And so I need my buddy Steve to let that kid play because he can just break games open for you. The question here is going to be Jimmy. Is Jimmy going to be able to stay healthy? And is Steph going to be able to stay healthy? But we're doing hypotheticals, so I feel like they have a really good chance. I don't think it's not going to be the old Warriors where it's like they're trying to win 80 games, but I think that they'll win a lot of games this year, and they can get back to playing sound basketball again.
They had a really solid debut last night, and I think you're right. I think that this division could be the most, not the best, but the most competitive.
Yeah,
Because yeah, I mean, Clippers, don't buy into them at this point because it's the same thing every year. Like it's all a what if from them, and seeing just the amount of impact Draymond Green can still have, having 8 points, but having a team high plus 20 last night, and just him and Steph just have like this telekinesis when they're on the floor. Like he
yeah.
just knows where Steph is going to be all the time. And it was just, Kuminga stepped up, had a great game. He needs to do that because he's got his contract. Buddy Hield came off the bench in the third quarter, shot some threes, had a great game. So the shooting all around for that team was great. And then Jimmy Butler was just dominating them so many times. He would get Gabe Vincent on an island, and then they can't send the double over because you cannot send a double over on the Warriors because then he just kicks it out to whoever's open on the floor because they're shooting it really well. And it was just a really sad sign from the Lakers in this opening game. And I was having flashbacks not having LeBron on the floor where like Luka would make this like perfect play, but then would have like no shooters around him. Like I was getting memories of like LeBron driving down the lane, perfect play, kicks out to Winion Gabriel or something like that. You
Yeah.
know, it's just
Yeah. So my thing always with Luka, and it's not just him, it's with all your high usage guys, James Harden when he was in Houston. It's almost like, since his mentality is probing to get a good shot, whether it's his or whoever's. It's almost like you end up kind of freezing other guys out of the game. I was really frustrated because I'm a huge Rui Hachimura fan, and it was like for a good portion of the game, Rudy wasn't sniffing the ball. And then, like when he did, I think he like all three of his shots he made were like threes, I believe. Um, which is disappointing because he can score at like different levels. You can actually get the ball to him on the block. So I'm not a fan of that. We call it time bomb basketball, where you sit around, and then every once in a while the guy throws you the ball. And like we said earlier, when you get the ball, you're expected to make the shot. And if you don't, it's like, oh, that's like, no, let me touch it, let me play with it too. So, we can all be in rhythm. So yeah, and I think with LeBron coming back, because there's a formula that Dallas was doing like the last couple of years once Kyrie got there, which was those first three quarters, Luka just dominate. And then that fourth quarter, he's always going to be gassed because he has such high usage. And then that's where Kyrie would, kind of take over. So I think you can do that with LeBron and with Lemon Daddy, because Lemon Daddy's like the closer. Like he's the one that made the game look kind of competitive last night. I'm sorry, Harrison. Austin Reeves is Lemon Daddy. If you're
yeah, he had a decent game. He had a decent game, but I think Austin Reeves. I think this might be it. Like I think like where he is as a player, this might be
might be
what
the
it
deal.
is, and he's a great player. But I think like the Lakers, well, like I think Austin Reeves gave you the like extent of what he could give you in that performance, and without LeBron on the floor, it's just going to be really difficult. And I hate to say that because LeBron's great, but if the key thing is adding a 40-year-old player to that team, yeah, it's going to be rough. And then going back to Warriors, Al Horford was 1 for 7 last night, 5 points. So I think the upside, and they also the Warriors always get into like turnover trouble early on in the season. They're going to improve as the season goes along.
Yeah.
So I had them for the top of that division as well. If Steph can win a fifth ring, oh my God.
Yeah. And keep in mind, last night, Trace Jackson Davis didn't play. I really like the Richard kid from Florida. He didn't score
right.
a lot, but he's, one of those guys, and he's in the right place. You can tell the IQ is there. So I think that there's, you're going to be able to get more out of some of these guys. And if Jimmy's healthy, I can't remember if it was Dwayne Wade or Udonis Haslem, but they were talking about how Jimmy's like the highest IQ basketball player they've ever played with. You got to see some of that last night, and like being able to play with space and have Steph on the court with him, I think it's just going to show, because it's like there's always that part of the game where it's like, I know this is what I need to do right now, but am I able to make that quick adjustment? I got a little guy on me, I'm going to abuse him. When the double comes, it's like he's seeing things, a few plays ahead. And you said something excellent, which is that Steph and Draymond have this telepathy thing going. But I saw Jimmy like backdoor somebody yesterday, and I think that if those three can lock in, like that mentally, they'll be scary to beat, especially in the playoffs. But with them, of course, they just got to be healthy.
I have
the
to
whole team.
I have to concur. I think the Warriors are the scariest team in the Western Conference. This team last night looked like they hadn't stopped playing from last year's playoffs.
Yeah.
And now with the addition of Al Horford, yes, they're old and they're still small, but they're wiser, mentally tougher um, in the post than they were previously, um, which does not bode well for the rest of the league. And if, to me, this would be if they could somehow win again, this would be Steve Kerr's. Like, some people have discredited Steve Kerr or not given him as much credit because he didn't put the team together. And he took over Mark Jackson's team, opened it up, for Steph, and then they won. Kind of like, hey, he was gifted this roster, and and while that's true to a certain extent, it's not like a John Gruden, took over Dungy's team, won, and then
Yeah.
never won again.
Right.
There's been continued success here, and if he can get this team to perform through the regular season, preserve Steph, Dre, and Jimmy for the playoffs, while relying on the Buddy Hields, the Kamingas, the Buddy Hields, they are going to be really dangerous. The only problem is that they are small, but they are playing great basketball. They know how to win. They know what pieces they have, and they've got big time playoff clutch performers out of 4 guys on this roster who can do it. 4 guys who have championship experience, except or finals experience. 3 of them with championship experience. So it's really um, a team where you really can't overlook them. And then some of these young guys, the Trace Jackson Davises, Pod Zemisky, these guys are Jackson Rowe. These guys are going to be um, contributors to a lot of the success as well. So if I'm in this division, I'm definitely scared of the.
And also keep in mind, Moses Moody didn't play last night. He's dealing with a
Yep.
calf strain, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm looking like that's another lottery pick that can play. So hopefully, my biggest issue with Steve is that he hasn't really boosted up the young kids.
Yes, but
And
that's a
you
big
have
problem.
to now. And they're not as young. But I think this is year 4 for him, 3 or 4. So it's time to give him let him get a solid, role in the rotation. Because there's been times where he's been a starter, he's been a 6th man, and then there's been times where he's, 9th. And so I think just letting him giving him a solid role where every day I know this is what I'm here to do. I
Yep.
think you'll see a lot of good things from him as well.
Yep. Yeah, I think so too. And this is a team also to look out for. If this team isn't where they want to be, this is a franchise that will make a trade before the deadline, because they've shown that outside of Steph Curry, everyone can go
Yeah.
pretty much. And that's maybe one of the reasons why they have 4 championships. Uh, so I would definitely look at that. But yeah, I think this is going to be a really solid year for them.
All right. So Harrison, who do you predict to win this Eastern Conference?
Let's go with the Cavs winning the East. The Cavs winning the East, and they just got better and better from not making it into the play-in to making it into the playoffs without LeBron, to having this historic season last season. I think they have enough depth to get past any team in the East, and I think they have the depth to contain any of the superstars that will be in the East this season. If you are if you're like a more like casual NBA fan, I would encourage everyone to pay attention to the East this year because I know it's hard when we get discouraged with all these injuries going around. But I really do think there's going to be a lot of movement. There's going to be a lot of role players that are going to step up. We're going to see it's going to be a big opportunity for players that have not gotten as much exposure in the East. So it's going to be, I think, very highly competitive in the top and in the middle. And then the bottom is just going to be really, really bad in the Eastern Conference. So I'll say Cavaliers versus Knicks, Eastern Conference Finals. Cavaliers win in 6 games. I don't know, just for fun.
Okay. Wow. Um, hmm. I I got to. I don't believe in the Cavs. Um, I don't believe in Spider. I like him. Don't believe in him. Come come the big time. Um, and that's just through years of watching him continue to not perform at the biggest moments. Start off the series well, does not finish series well. They've got tons of talent. I like Darius Garland, love him. I like Jared Allen. I like Evan Mobley. Um, I'm also not a big fan of Kenny, your coach. I think that they had a better thing in Bickerstaff. But when you clash with a superstar on the team, you're not going to stick around. But I think as the overall basketball fit, I think he was a better option for the culture and especially the defense that they need to play. And I think they're a little softer with Kenny compared to JB. I think personally, I think this is this season is prime for, and I hate to say it because the fans are obnoxious, but this season is prime for the New York Knicks to return to the NBA Finals. I don't want to see it personally because, again, I like the Knicks as a franchise. I hate James Dolan and I don't like Knicks fans because they're obnoxious. Most Knicks fans. There are a couple of y'all out there that I do
You
like.
know who you are.
Yeah. The ones y'all I like, y'all know who y'all are. But most of you Knicks fans, y'all are obnoxious. You really are. Most of y'all can't even name 5 players from your last championship team. So I don't want to hear it. Most of y'all weren't even alive for your last championship team. Just a bunch
I
of
wasn't.
neither was I. I wasn't even a twinkle in my daddy's eye. Most of y'all just copying Stephen A. Smith crying about the Knicks. I think that just the Knicks are better built for this playoff basketball. This Cavs team is very good in the regular season. I just don't think they're that built for playoff basketball. But I digress. What do you think, Greg?
I think the Cavs. I feel like they may take a little bit of a step back this year. One of the things, like they're one of those teams. When you were talking about the Seattle, like the George Karl teams, they're built for like the regular season, but they're very little. People are going to hunt those matchups. You can't really dominate Donovan on defense because he's so strong, but Garland is just going to be barbecue chicken. So I feel like they might take a step back. I feel like the Knicks, this is going to probably be their best chance to at least win the conference. My team that I feel like can shake up the world, we talked about them a little bit, and I think that the 76, I think VJ Edgecombe might pull out Rookie of the Year this year. And I'm not just saying that because he dropped 34 in his.
What to say? He
career.
dropped 34 tonight. So
Yeah, but no, I've been watching in preseason. I watched the top rookies, Dylan, Ace, of course Cooper, and to me, I feel like because he can be such a dominant athlete, I just feel like he's going to have a chance. And it's like whatever you get from him is what you're going to get. I don't think they're expecting him to, be the leader of the team. But like him and Maxey tonight, they combined for 74.
yeah,
And I think he's going to get to play free. And I don't think they need, especially when McCain comes back, because he was having a really solid season last year before he got hurt.
yes, he was.
I just think that they got a lot of firepower and they have a lot of youth. I love Kelly Oubre. So they don't need Joel to be good or great during the regular season.
They should just send him and George to the Clippers for draft picks.
I would put him in a hyperbaric chamber for the whole season and then unleash him on the playoffs. Because if he's healthy, like nobody can do anything with him, Yeah. So it's like I think they got the guys that can, run through the
get you through the regular season.
And if they could just be like in the top 6, I think that they have a chance to, be dangerous. I still think, like I said, I think this is the Knicks' year. They have to figure out Mikal Bridges. They got to figure out how to make sure these other guys are getting to eat, because the more balanced they are on offense, it's going to be easier for Jalen in the playoffs. It's going to be easier for Putty Tat in the playoffs.
I'll leave that man alone.
Man, he won't leave us alone. Like, tell him to leave us alone. I'm not even talking about like all the rumors and stuff. I'm just talking about him being soft. And coming into the season opener,
he's Dominican. He's got a little flash to a little flair to him. He's oozing machismo. Papi.
Yeah. He's also oozing stupid fouls because he had 2 fouls like in the first 5 minutes tonight. And it's like, bro, when are you gonna grow up, man? And they're dumb fouls. They're not like
deal with what they are. They're dumb. He's trying to be aggressive. So they're dumb, being overly aggressive fouls.
No. Some of them are just like stupid people fouls. Like, don't reach for that.
Yeah, he's trying to. He thinks that's being aggressive. It's being dumb.
And they need to. He's a great shooter. That's fine, but they need to balance that out because there's like one person that can guard him in the post, and he's always injured. He plays for Philadelphia, like he kills everybody else. So it's like.
But in the rare occasion he actually goes in the post,
right?
He loves to shoot his threes.
God, he loves him so much.
He's the greatest. He's the greatest 3-point shooter, big man ever, man.
Yeah,
so proud of that.
Because Dirk Nowitzki didn't exist, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right. Or Bob McAdoo, or dude.
Don't get me started.
Yeah.
I totally agree. This is the Knicks' best opportunity, and it's unfortunate that it has to be a year where 2 superstars are having Achilles injuries. Because I mean, if Boston's healthy, I'm probably changing. I'm changing these rankings a little bit.
Absolutely. If Boston was healthy,
even though they lost a lot of good players.
Oh yeah, but just how the East would look.
Yeah, it would be different, a lot different.
But yeah, it's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate that that's like common now. It's like you win a championship, blow up your team.
Well, I mean, we knew that was coming because they had Drew, they had Al, Jalen, and Jason are making like more money than a small country. Like, so it's like you got 2 guys with $300 million contracts. Something had to budge. So yeah, they knew it going into the season that this was going to be their last hurrah. But I welcome it. support my North DeKalb supercharger, Jaylen Brown, forever. And like tonight, it was fun watching him because I got to see him when he was in high school, and like where he played like LeBron, like he handled the ball, he got everybody involved, still scored his 30. So it was good to see him, early on at least,
Hey,
looking.
Jason Tatum, Chaminade High School, St. Louis. I'm St. Louis guy.
Oh yeah, cool.
So I saw Jason Tatum play Oak Hill,
Mm,
and then he went to the league, third overall, and then every matchup of Jason Tatum and Bradley Beal, the entire game, the announcers are like, "Do you know they played for the same high school? Do you know they played for
right.
the same high school?" That's just the entire game. So
Yeah.
Jason Tatum, by far best NBA player out of St. Louis, I think. Yeah, by far. We have Bradley Beal. We have who's the guy that just got in trouble recently? Oh, I'll think of
Which
his name later.
which sport?
Yeah.
No, he got in trouble. He's an NBA player. I can't think of his name now, but he got in some serious legal trouble about something. From St. Louis. I can't believe let's move on. It's slipping my name now. Let's move on. I'll
Because
I'll
I don't
think.
think Beasley's from St. Louis. He got the biggest trouble this off season.
Um, who he used to play for the Kings. Um, I
That's a
don't.
whole lot of.
That's why I said we
You talking about
got
Ben
we
McLemore?
Oh
Ben
yeah,
McLemore.
Macklemore. Yeah, he is from St.
Thank
Louis.
you.
He did get himself into some serious trouble. Yes, he
I
Some
did.
was
serious trouble. So that's why I was trying to move on. Yeah, Ben McLemore just totally.
Former
Um,
former former Rocket, former King Ben McLemore.
He was
Yeah,
a very talented kid, man.
yeah,
yeah.
Oh, where the sometimes
But he went to play for Bill Self, who doesn't develop players.
nah. And yeah, I had St. Louis. So I'm actually. Are you from the Missouri side or the Illinois
yeah,
side? Is it-
yeah. I'm from St. Louis County.
Okay, yeah, I'm a Missouri guy. Family's from a small town called Sedalia. Most of the family went up to Kansas City like after wars and whatnot, and then I do have some family in St. Louis as well.
Yeah. I haven't been back to St. Louis in years, but yeah, I love my hometown. I love my Cardinals baseball.
Mm,
My dad was born in 1959, which is the same year, the only year they ever had an NBA championship in St. Louis,
mhm.
because the St. Louis Hawks
Yep.
won
Yes,
in 1959. So
led by the great
that's
Bob Pettit, who
that's
we don't talk
that's
about
cool.
enough.
And Bill Russell didn't want to go to St. Louis because he was afraid of the racism. So he went to Boston, which I think is just a wild thing to think about. It's
So,
like
so the thing is, coming from where he came from in Louisiana, he probably was thinking the farthest north possible will be better for me. But yeah, it was
he's
Boston.
probably right. There's some things that happened to him in Boston, but he was probably right. But I just think it's funny that like
No, he wasn't
we're we're the city that is like, oh, let's go to the less racist Boston. And I
Right.
digress. I'm sorry, I digress.
No, it's a hilarious point because it's one of those things you look at and like, bruh, really?
I was
Austin.
in I was Boston. I was in Boston in April for a comic convention, and I'm like, man, this is really racist.
Oh
And
yeah,
this is me coming from the South. Like, whoa, it's really racist up here.
yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
so
They
yeah.
they 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 love it there. All right, Greg, give me your Western Conference
So
winner.
are we talking about like regular season or
Yeah,
coming out?
no, coming out. Who's winning the conference?
All right. So
Who's coming into the NBA Finals out of the playoffs?
I mean, I'm going with Old Faithful. If we've learned anything over the last few years, the way the game is played now with this pace and like people going down at any time, it's a marathon now. Like it's not, it's not gonna be your regular slugfest. So I had to go with the team that's best equipped for the marathon, which is the Thunder. And I know it's the easy pick because they just won a championship,
It's not the
but
easy pick because going back to back is very hard.
yeah. But they've mastered, like I said, they mastered the regular season. They literally I watched them play a lot because I'm a Shea fan, and they just straight up put you through the blender in the regular season. And I believe that because you got these guys that aren't like super selfish as far as like, I need to play all the minutes. I need to get all the shots. I think that they'll be able to, they'll be more rested coming into the playoffs. And I don't know if anybody's going to keep up because they play with that pace. But then at the end of the day, they got, to me, the most lethal scorer in the NBA. And it's going to be hard. I think that Houston, like I said earlier, I think they have a chance. I think Minnesota has a chance because, again, they're young as well, except for they got Rudy Gobert. But I think that, I think Minnesota has a chance. But if I'm betting, I think I would put my money on OKC. They could withstand, like last year, losing a starter for a good, significant part and a key member, and they just kept on ticking. They can sustain, like a couple of, people breaking down during the year and still come out on a nightly basis and beat the skin off of people. So I think, I think their play, it could just be hopeful. I love it. I love the small market team that built their team the right way. You know how disgusted I am with these concocted super teams. So I think it's good for basketball. And I know you guys said Spurs, but you got to hear me out. You got your guys that you can pencil in for 30 every night, right? And then you got your do-it-all guy with Jalen, who can also get you 30 when you need it. And then you got Chet, who's coming. I feel like I smell little Bulls dynasty coming here. And I could be wrong. But they're going to be losing people over the years, but they still got a bunch of first-round picks. So I think they can I think they're prime. Like, it's very hard to repeat. We haven't. When's the last time somebody repeated? That's the Warriors, the KD Warriors, right?
The KD.
Yeah, it's the way the game is built now. It's hard to repeat, but I think they're prime. They're young. They don't have too many miles on their legs, and they got backups everywhere.
I think the biggest weapon on OKC is the unselfishness. They are not hung up on a lot of these numbers and having to get their focus is on winning. And ultimately, I think that is the biggest weapon. And they're so deep. They play so well together, and the MVP showed why he's the MVP. They needed him to come up. He didn't do much the first 3 quarters, but that fourth quarter, he was like, "Oh, all right, here's 12." And in overtimes, he continued to put it in. And end of the game, where it mattered, he drew the foul off another superstar, hit the free throws. And that's what your superstar is supposed to do: come up big in those big moments. And he did that.
Yeah, and it's funny because one of my basketball chats that I'm in, I was trying to tell these dudes about Jalen because everybody, like one of my boys, he's like, Jalen Williams isn't a number 2 player on a championship team. And I'm like, you haven't watched him play basketball. Like you could.
Well, you can't say that. He's already done it. So like what?
No. Well, he was saying this last year.
Okay. I'm about to say you can't be saying that because the man's done it.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, you're not. You either you don't really know basketball, or you haven't watched basketball. He's a very good basketball player.
Really good.
He's a guy that he understands the pecking order, so he doesn't compete with Shea for shots. He's okay impacting the game like in a myriad of ways. Um, I look, and he's still improving as well.
Yes.
In that game where he dropped 40, wasn't it 40 like in the finals? And I was just sitting there like this. So he's not what again? What did you say? Say it louder. Because I think he's a guy, like he's a really good basketball player. One of
Yes.
my
Really, really good.
Very good.
He changed the entire trajectory of that OKC team. I mean, he comes in the draft with Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren is out for a year, and I thought that their focus with this OKC team would be built around Josh Giddey, who is a
Mhm.
solid NBA player, and who knows how far they could have been with him, but when Jalen Williams came into OKC, they realized what they had, and then Josh Giddey is on the Bulls, and then that led to getting Alex Caruso, getting Isaiah Hartenstein, which then kind of completed this whole championship team that they had. So I think Jalen Williams was like the the biggest surprise because I knew Chet Holmgren was going to be great eventually, like when he like finally was able to play. But Jalen Williams was like out of nowhere.
Yeah. And as soon as he touched down, he started contributing. Um, and I watched the game and look for those IQs, like those guys that have a better feel and a better understanding than most people. And he's in there. It was funny because early on, he reminded me a lot of James Harden when he first got to the Thunder, where he's like, there's a lot of good things this guy can do, but it's kind of like he's trying to
Trying to find his place.
figure out which way he's going to impact. And I just watched him. He's a good passer. A lot of times, especially when the defenses load up on Shea, they give the ball to Jalen and let him, like kind of conduct the offense. They also, I think it was like maybe his second year, they started looking at him and like close out games. Because if you saw last year in the playoffs, when they would double Shea real hard towards the end of the game, Shea would just be like, let's give it up.
Yeah.
Like the way everybody used to give the ball to Robert Horry. It's like, y'all gonna leave him? Okay, good luck. But he's a really solid player. And I also, as a former coach, I always look at body language. And those guys have great body language. Like they never get too low. And most of the time, if they're low on themselves. You don't see them like yelling and fussing at other players. Just really good leaders. So he's not Scottie Pippen, but he is the Scottie Pippen for this budding dynasty.
Sure.
Okay. Well, they got to go back to back before we can start talking dynasty, but the potential is strong there. So, based off of the predictions from both of you, we have a Cavs versus Thunder finals. Before we predict a winner for that, I have to say that Spurs Mavericks game that was nice and close, that was competitive, has now ballooned to a 29-point lead with 4 minutes to go for the Spurs, with Wemby having 40.
Crazy night tonight. He hit this reverse slam while we were recording. I almost yelled.
Yeah, I saw it too. I sent it to you, G. It's waiting for you in your inbox.
Thank you.
It's filthy. So if we predict properly, the Cavs will play the Thunder in the finals. Before you two even give a prediction, I'm just going to flat out say the Thunder sweep the Cavs if that's the case, in my opinion. But what say y'all?
Man, so I know you're not hype about Spider, but I've watched him obliterate some teams in the playoffs. Like, if they're
But
healthy,
wait. The Heat, who didn't belong there, the 10 seed Heat who got lucky and
Even
got
going back
hot
to Utah, like when he was in Utah, like I've seen it and I can't unsee it.
in the first round. We ain't never seen it anywhere else.
All I'm saying is I think that again, health is going to be a big part. But if the Cavs do make it, I mean, you're looking at like you got two defensive monsters. You know, your center and power forward, and then whatchamacallit, what's his name? Hunter is not bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know, man, because like Indiana had a chance to win the finals last year. Like, if Tyrese don't go down, you know, we could be looking at this differently.
That's a different team, though.
No,
I
I
mean,
know, but
we're talking about we're talking about Tyrese Halliburton. We're talking about Miles Turner. We're talking about Pascal Siakam. We're talking about a really great, one of the best sub point guards in TJ McConnell. We're talking about a really solid, very well put together team that's coached by an excellent coach in Rick Carlisle, someone I do believe in. Nothing personal against Kenny, but I don't believe in him as a coach.
I like him as a coach.
I don't believe him as a championship level coach.
Well, I don't.
You know who he reminds me of as a coach? He reminds me of Flip Saunders. Really good in the regular season, come playoff time, it's not enough.
I mean, in the way that they haven't had the most talented rosters, I can give you that. But
They've got a lot of talent right now.
no,
They
they
had a lot of
do.
talent
But
last year.
right, but you like so as far as like to me this year, what their shooting is going to be questionable.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a solid team, and I like Kenny. Like I think he's one of those guys. So far, it's looked like he gets more out of less than most people, and that is a thing. So yeah, we
It is a
want to see
thing.
it. You want to see it translate better, but I don't think he's had like last year. He had a solid roster, but he had injuries, right?
Well, I mean, he had the one big injury to Darius.
Which is yeah. So it's like, if they can be healthy, I think I haven't seen enough out of him as a coach to be like, he can't do this. I think he can coach. So we'll see. Like, but I feel like they can lock down defensively. It's just they got those little guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to say a sweep because if Indiana can go take them to Game 7, then
Again, that's a completely different roster, man.
I know, but it was a pretty, it wasn't that great of a roster.
No, it's just, but again, we're talking. It's the matchups. I don't think Cleveland matches up well against Oklahoma City. Indiana matched up well, and they have and their length on the perimeter was a big bother for them. They don't have that in Cleveland. Most of their length is lower, except for Mobley. They're not super long. Their guards are weak defensively. Like Spider's not the worst, but he's no one's scared of him defensively. And even though you can't overpower him, you can shoot right over him.
Yeah.
You're shooting right over him. And like you said, Darius Garland, unfortunately, is weak defensively. So where the guard play is the strongest is for OKC. You're really going to be in tough sledding trying to defend them by having to deal with your second level defense. Trying to cover for your soft front, your soft backcourt defense. You're going to have to rely on a lot of zones and trying to hide those defenders.
You're making good points.
That is what we do on this show.
Cavaliers and Thunder split their series last year, so I'll go Thunder in 6 games. I'll do that. I think the Cavaliers have the correct lineups to put against the Thunder. No matter what they put out on the floor, the Thunder are just better. And at this point, I think I've said, yeah, kind of what I want to say. I'm more confident in the Thunder repeating in the West than I am whatever is going to happen in the East. And I don't really know. There are there are so many teams I could see in the finals this year based on who's not starting this season.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you guys have said everything that I want to say about this. I would take the Thunder repeating, and it's crazy that we haven't had a repeat since 2018, and that's been so nice, right? That's been such a nice kind of luxury to have. I think at the
It's people forget how tough it is to go back to back. Like we were spoiled in the '90s with the Bulls three-peats, but like people forget, you know, of the 5 titles the Showtime Lakers won, they only won back to back once. The Bird Celtics never won back to back. You know, the Pistons won back to back, the Bulls three-peated, and the Lakers three-peated. But you know, they talk about the Spurs dynasty, and I don't like to call it dynasty, partially because I think to be a dynasty, you got to go back to back, and they never did. You know,
Kobe went back to back.
oh, yeah, and the Lakers went back to back. The Heat went back to back, but
twice.
You know, twice. Yeah, well, you know, he three-peated in the back to back. Yeah, but
I just want to be able to say that Kobe went back.
Come on, you act like we don't give Kobe
without Shaq.
You act like we don't give Kobe flowers on this show. Come on.
Oh, we gonna always give flowers.
But that just stresses the point of how difficult it is to win back-to-back championships, especially when people think you should. The 04, the Pistons should have won in 05, didn't. You know, there were times the Spurs should have gone back-to-back. They did not. I thought the Heat should have four-peated. I thought that they were that good with the Heatles. They didn't. Like it's tough to continue to do that,
and it's even harder now because it's harder to keep your team intact.
It is very hard to keep your team intact. So if Oklahoma City wins back to back and they've got the best shot to, I wouldn't be surprised. But it also anyone coming out of the East, I think, is going to be overmatched. Regardless of who it is, I think they're just going to be overmatched.
Man, I think the Knicks, if they could figure out how to get Putty Tat, like get his brain fixed, I think the Knicks could be a very big problem for a lot of people. I'm expecting them to be healthy coming in because they got a bunch of Iron Men. I just hope Thibodeau didn't take too many years off their life. But I think that, and then you got to go to New York to play. Like, I think that if the Knicks can sneak out, which I would pick the Knicks before I would pick the Cavs to make it out of the East.
Hey, I mean, look, and not to toot my team's horn, but the Knicks barely beat us. Like, there's a lot of teams that are tougher, better built for playoff basketball, in my opinion, than Cleveland. To me, they're just more built for the regular season. But the Knicks, this is their best shot. Orlando is going to surprise a lot of people, and they've got a lot of height, which really helps them. But to me, the Knicks come out. I just don't personally believe in the Cavs enough. But you could see. But the thing is, again, because of Giannis, and the fact that I think a lot of those guys are hungry, I would not be surprised if the Bucks go deep and make a lot. If we see the Bucks and the Knicks in the conference finals, you know, vying for a shot to play against Oklahoma City, and that would be the Bucks would be an intriguing matchup with Giannis.
And I'm sure that the commissioner would just love to have a Milwaukee OKC finals, like because the OKC Indiana finals wasn't good enough for them last year. It would be unique to have New York. I mean, have like your biggest
the big markets
against like maybe the smallest market.
It's one of them.
That would be good. That would be good.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for the fantastic insight on this NBA preview. Listeners, if you're listening to this, you've listened to a two-part episode that we split up because there was just too much excellent insight to all combine it into one, 3+ hour episode. So we thank you for enduring here with us. I want to take this time just as we close to thank Harrison for joining us. Again, you can find Harrison on his podcast, Harrison Talks Pod, as well as Nintendo Therapy. That he's a member of that crew. His podcast, I follow them both on Spotify. I encourage you to listen and follow him there. Especially because you can interact and comment, or on another great podcast application like Good Pod, something where you can not only listen, but you can comment and share and interact with the podcaster. This is going to wrap this episode of Fanalysis 101. Again, I am your host, the one and only RockinMrMagic. He's Greg Burnham. We thank you for listening, and we
Let's go
continue your
Spurs. Let's go Spurs.
we appreciate your support. Please continue to like, rate, and review the show. Again, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, Good Pods, Castbox, and others. And if you can't find us, email us at jeeknation@gmail.com or message us on Facebook at jeeknation. And until next time, peace.